Hey guys, it's Fain Brandt here with a LinkedIn Bakery. We are trying to go live here. I have Sharyna Scott on. Here we go. So Sharyna, I'm having some technical difficulties and I'm just going to switch back and forth between you and me. So let's get this party started. So we're having some technical difficulties. Facebook did some changes because of that whole massacre that happened. And so we had to update, or I had to update all of my programs, which I did, but I'm still having a little technical issue. So we're just going to go back and forth. The split screen where it has both of us, our lovely faces on the screen. But you know what? It's not working. So we're going to improvise. So hi everyone. I'm Fain Brandt with a LinkedIn Bakery, serving up bite-sized tips so you get overwhelmed. And I have my Facebook live show the first and third Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m., Pacific Daylight Time or Pacific Standard Time, depending. Let's see who popped in. It's Kimberly. Here are both of you beautiful ladies. Thank you, Kimberly Shutters, for joining us tonight. So real quick, it's really important for me to know who's watching. So if you're watching and you're one of those people that normally doesn't comment or like, I would love for you to take a moment to do that tonight. I found out today at our CWEN meeting that all these people are following me online and watching my show, and I had no idea. So please take a moment. Drop in the type of business that you have, the location that you're watching from. Is it San Diego? Is it a coffee shop? Are you in Virginia, DC? I have an international audience. Maybe you're one of my students from Canada or the UK. Hey, Kat's on too. Kat from CWEN. Sharyna's on. Yay! We have some CWEN sisters here, which is Christian Women's Entrepreneur Network. It's an organization, networking group that Sharyna and I and all these lovely ladies are a part of. So thank you for joining us tonight. So just take a minute. Tell me where you're watching from. Give me some hearts. Give me some love. And if you're watching the replay, please type in replay, because Sharyna and we're going to go back on and we're going to answer your questions and engage with your comments afterwards, because this is really about serving my community and providing value to you guys. And so these shows are really to bring you experts from all over and give you some love and show some great experts. So Kat says, I'm watching from my pad in Chula Vista. Well, thank you for watching. We're going to get started here in just a minute. I'm going to see if it's not going to work, is it? The split screen, but that's okay. That's totally fine. I'm just going to do the toggle screen back and forth, but I am going to take a moment and do, what did I say I'm always bad at doing? Sharing. So I'm always bad at sharing my Facebook Lives, and so I'm going to share that on my personal page because I know I have a large following over there. Please tune in now to see this fab show. I mean, really, what else do they need to know, right? Okay. Short and sweet. Bite-sized tips, right? That's my motto. That's my style. Everybody knows that who knows me. So, okay. So when tech stuff doesn't work, it really freaks me out. I was sharing that with Sharyna earlier. So these Facebook live shows, they people are always like, oh, Mary, you're so great on video. I'm like, oh, you don't see the behind the scenes stuff. One day I'm going to have it all reeled in and it's all going to work flawlessly. But until then, we just go with the flow. Let's see. Kat said, I just shared. So excited. I love me so much. Yay. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. So you guys, if you're watching this show, go ahead and share it to your audience, because this is going to be a fabulous show for all business owners and entrepreneurs. We're going to dive into some personal stuff that happened to me. But first, so Sharyna Scott, we know each other from CWEN. And she's also my attorney. Done some work with her. But she is a fabulous young woman, and I just wanted to bring her on because she was so helpful to me when I got in a sticky situation. So she saw me go through fear, tears and anger in all of like probably 27 minutes. Thank you, Kimberly, for sharing and inviting others. Oh my gosh, I love this community. Yes, so we're supposed to like invite people and share it on all the platforms. So I'm going to toggle over to Sharyna because I really want to get this party started here. And I want to let her tell you her story of how she got started in law, because that's like a foreign language to me when you say law. I just feel like it's a calling. It's like being a teacher. I think that most people like teachers, attorneys, and doctors, that's a calling from a higher being, because that's a lot of hours in schooling. And like I said, a whole different language. So I'm going to toggle over, and Sharyna, I would love for you to tell everyone the story of how you became an attorney. And do you go by attorney or lawyer? And what's the difference?
Okay, well, I'll answer that first. Either or, attorney or lawyer.
Oh, okay.
They both
Okay.
mean the same thing. I like to get fancy sometimes when I sign things and put Esquire after my name.
Oh,
Which means that
fancy.
I am licensed to practice law. So I am licensed to practice law here in California. Um, and how I got started, well, I guess I'd have to start back when I was younger. I would argue a lot. I still like to argue and enter into debates. And one day my grandfather told me, since you like to argue so much, you might as well just become a lawyer and get paid to do it. And so that just kind of stayed in my mind. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And so through high school, that was my thing. I went to college, majored in philosophy pre-law, and then went right into law school after, which looking back, like you said earlier, it is a lot of work, and it was a lot of work. But at the end of the day, um, as I went through law school, I did a number of internships at nonprofit organizations, and I really love seeing how you could use law to help people. So that
Mm-hmm.
was kind of my thing. I like using the law to help people, help them get benefits, help guide them through a process. I wasn't really trying to do the law to go into court and argue and show that I'm right and win the case, because that can be, enjoyable if you win your case, but it also comes with a lot of strife and contention and disputes, and that's not really what I wanted to use my skill set for. So I was licensed to practice in June 2014. So be going on 4 years that I've been licensed.
Woohoo! Yay!
And I opened my own law practice about 2 years ago. So, and I decided to to practice in three areas: immigration, estate planning, and business formation. And some people might think, well, why did you pick those three areas? Why those aren't important?
Yeah.
And they actually all are connected to me. They all have to do with dreams. So like I said earlier, I like using a lot to help people, and in those areas, I can use a lot to help people go after their dreams. Whether it's if you are an immigrant or you have a family member that wants to come to the country to live here, to work here, to be reunited with their families. I love helping that dream come true. Whether you have a business idea, like I'm sure everyone that's watching tonight, they have a business baby that they put a lot of hard work into. I want to help them get the right foundation legally so that they can grow their business and protect it from other issues and give birth to that dream. Or whether you've worked hard, you've gotten some things in your name, got some assets and things like that, and you want to protect it so that you can pass it along to your loved ones without them having to go through probate and possibly losing it. So furthering that dream onto the next generation. So that's what I like to do in my practice, help serve
Sweet.
people going after their dreams. So that's
Awesome. Well, okay, so one of the reasons I wanted to invite Sharyna on is because I'm a solopreneur, so a party of one. And I think that sometimes as a solopreneur, we don't think that we really need to protect our business or our services. And well, before we get into my story, why don't we go over some definitions? Because I'm not quite sure if I'm kind of cloudy or hazy on some of the definitions and laws and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that probably 80% of my audience is. So like IP and what a trademark is and what a copyright is. Let's start with that stuff first.
Sounds good. I like defining things because if you know what things mean, it's a little bit clearer for you. So the topic tonight is intellectual property, and that's kind of like a broad term. So let me try to make that a little bit simpler. So we know about real property, right? Houses, things like that, land, you can own real property, or like personal property, so your cars, a yacht, things like that. And intellectual property is kind of the same thing, but it's from your intellect or your mind. So when you come up with ideas, essentially, and you either write it down or draw it out, that's when you're into the intellectual property. That's why.
So like some of my programs, maybe like my strategic programs and things like that. It doesn't, yeah.
Yeah. So if you have an idea, so let's start with copyright.
Okay.
Copyright is whenever you have had an idea in your mind and you've written it down. Technically, it's called an original work of authorship. So like your programs, right? You had to write down
Yes.
the literature that, if you're educating someone, materials that you're giving them that they'll be reading. Everything that you had to think of and you had to write that down to be able to hand off. That is your original work of authorship. And so that can include things, literary works, musical works, drama plays, artistic portrayals, paintings, drawings, photographs, blog posts, things like that. Anything where you are coming up with an idea and you are writing it down in some form of medium, that is your original work of authorship, and that is protected under copyright law. And so you have some rights that come along with that, essentially. So you have an exclusive right to either reproduce it, make derivative works, make copies of it and distribute it to the public, perform it if it's like a play or something like that, or put it up on display in some public location. Those are your exclusive rights for your copyrighted
Hey,
work.
Sharyna, real quick, can you turn up your volume? I have a couple people saying it's hard to hear you.
Okay.
So, and I really want to make sure everyone can hear us clearly. Thank you for both the people. So if you could turn your volume up and maybe not, I know it's really hard. When you move your hands, I don't know if you're touching anything, but we can hear all that background noise, and we're getting more and more people coming on, and I want to make sure that everyone can hear you clearly because you have a lot of information to share with us.
Better?
So I'm going to ask everyone, Nancy, Kat, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear her better now? So it'll take just a minute. So I'm sorry. So Sharyna, if I interrupt you, it's just because I know that your message, okay, we got some hearts coming. So I'm going to take that as we got more hearts coming. So, let's go back, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to make sure.
No problem. Okay. So just as a quick summary, your original work of authorship, if you've created content from your ideas, that is copyright. That's work that's covered by copyright law.
Awesome.
So with that, you get exclusive rights. Only you are allowed to reproduce your work, put it up in public, distribute it, things like that. And so if anyone does that without your permission or without giving you the credit for it, then they have infringed upon your work, and you want to protect against people that would infringe upon your work. So that's copyright, and that's different from trademark protections. So trademark would apply more to people's logos for their businesses, if they have a slogan or a catchphrase or even like a jingle that they associate with their brand or their business. And a trademark is a word, a name, a symbol, or any combination of that, or a device that basically identifies you and your business and your brand to customers and consumers. So if you sell a product and you always have like your logo on there, that customer is going to associate your logo with that product and that you sell. If you are offering services and you have your logo there, or you have a slogan that you always say, the customer is going to associate your business, your brand with that logo. And so you'd want to be able to protect that trademark, because if somebody else in the same industry begins using a trademark that's really similar, there can be confusion among your customers.
Well, wait. So, so that is a great place to interject, I think, right?
Yeah.
And kind of tell my story. Do you think this is a good?
Yes, that's
Okay.
perfect for me.
So Sharyna and I, we actually had talked about me hiring her to, is it trademark, copyright, all of that with, you guys know that I have the LinkedIn bakery serving up bite-sized tips that I've rebranded. This is my second business and I'm really in alignment. I really love my branding. I'm getting out there. People know who I am. They see the cupcake. They think of me. And I was like, okay, it's time to think about, like, Mary, you need to protect what you've built up. I've got templates. I've got branding now. I'm speaking every month, like 2 or 3 times a month, and I'm really getting my name out there and building my brand. And so we had some conversations, and literally, I think it was within 3 weeks, like we had some conversations, and 3 weeks later, I got a text message from someone. We're not going to use any names because I don't believe in shaming people. I just believe in sharing the stories so that we all can learn from them. So I got a text message from a friend saying, have you seen so-and-so's website? And I was like, what are you talking about? And this, what happened, she sent me the website and I looked at it and I literally, my mouth dropped. And then I looked at this person's Facebook page and I was literally speechless, as I'm becoming speechless now, because what I saw was my brand taken, not borrowed, taken and used, with the same verbiage that I had. And this was someone I knew, someone that I was close with. We had talked about entrepreneurship and the struggles and what we do as entrepreneurs to make ends meet while we're getting everything set up. Smart lady, protect all of the work you've done. Thank you, Kimberly. Working on that still. So without saying any names, I reached out. I shared this with another colleague that I was like, okay, maybe I'm freaking out. I'll share it with this other person. And they were like, what? They literally were like on fire. And so then I think I text Sharyna and then she called me and I was mad, like super mad. And first I think I was hurt. I was hurt because this is someone I knew. And then I was mad and then I was angry and I knew I needed to calm down. But they basically had a teal cupcake as their logo. And in their, in the wording of their company, it said like social media bakery. And this is someone who also followed me on social media, followed me, knew my brand, knew my struggles, knew that my brand, the LinkedIn Bakery, that name honors my mom who passed away in 2016 from Alzheimer's. So that's not just my company name, that honors my mom. And she knew the story of me and losing my mom. And so the colors were the same, the words were the same. And this person said, and she put on LinkedIn that she'd been in business since 2014. And I know this person. And I was like, that is not what you were doing since 2014. So I like had a meltdown with my core group, and Sharyna helped me with some words. Like we drafted an email that night. And I sent it to this person. And then later that, she sent me back an email, stating that she never intended to do that she, was inspired by me. So Sharyna and I were talking before the show went live and I'm like, I want to inspire women. And now that Sharyna, when I'm thinking about it, I did exactly what I want to do in life, is to inspire other women, right? To start their own business, that you can do it. But at the same time, we have to be respectful of our friends and our colleagues. And maybe if this was in a different country, it wouldn't have, like if it was someone I didn't know, I'd be like, wow, well, how'd they come up with that? But this was someone I know, like, and trust. And so it was like, oh, hurt me. And so Sharyna helped me draft this email. And long story short is that this person took down their website, offered to give it to me, and we talked about that. I'm like, do I really want it? No. But they took it down and they've apologized, and we still haven't had a one-on-one conversation because I just needed some space. But why I share my struggles and my failures, because that is a failure on my part, because I hadn't gone that extra step and copyrighted and trademarked everything. Although I had a pretty good case because we have history. We have a long history on social media of me being the LinkedIn bakery, serving up bite-sized tips and having these wonderful logos that were designed by another C1 member, Kristen Ide. So I want to share that. And then Sharyna, we were talking that, I probably, we went through the trademark process and that I can't trademark the LinkedIn bakery because LinkedIn has their name secured on every industry type, right?
Yeah, a lot of industries, yes.
Which is fine. So the other lesson that I want to share with everyone out there is to do your due diligence, and before you go full throttle with a business name, you probably want to check and see if you can trademark or copyright that. And here's why I didn't. I'm a party of one. I'm a solopreneur. I'm not planning on selling my business. It's just going to be me. And I didn't think that I needed to protect myself as a solopreneur. So Sharyna, I'm going to flip the screen over to you, and I'm going to let you talk about that.
Yeah, so thanks, Mary, for sharing that, because that is essentially the very thing that you want to avoid. And that's why it's so important to know these things about how to protect the things that you've come up with and the things, especially in your business, like what you've created and what is your original work. That's like your baby. You worked hard for it, so you want to protect it. And there are instances, sometimes intentional, sometimes unintentional, where someone will say, hey, you know what, that's a great idea. I think I'm going to take that and use it. And especially if it's in the same industry, like in what Mary was saying, this person was in the same industry. Mary does consulting and marketing and teaches people how to market themselves on social media, and it was the same thing. So in that case, I mean, thankfully they took it down. But if they hadn't, then Mary would have run into issues because clients would have been confused. They may have thought they were signing up for her and consulting with her, but they were actually with this other person. And that's the main reason why you want to do what you can to protect yourself, because if you don't, then there's confusion among potential clients, and then you're losing business. And also, your branding, how you identify yourself out there in the market that sets you apart, someone else will start taking that, and then that is diluting your reputation for how you do work. So you really want to make sure that you are looking into the best ways to protect yourself. And the number one way I would say to protect yourself is, if you can, register your copyrighted works, register your trademark. And there is a process, like you were saying, Mary, you do have to, especially with trademarks, because there's a lot of people that have already gone out and registered their trademark. And you can pick which industries you want to have protection is. And unfortunately, if you've got a really great branding idea, but someone else has already gotten trademark protection in that same industry, you can't really apply for that protection. But there are other things that you can do. You always want to continue to monitor. So, Mary, how you got a heads up about somebody else taking the same thing. Ask people in your network to keep a heads up and to let you know if
Okay.
they see something.
Hey, network, keep a heads up. If you see anything that says like social media bakery, LinkedIn bakery, and it has a cupcake, like, you're right. We all have to help each other. And I'm very, very fortunate that I have a very strong network and we're really bonded. And I think that all of us, everyone watching, and, the people that are going to watch the replays and all of that, I feel really fortunate to have this strong network. But network, did you hear that? Watch if anything else comes up and share with me immediately. Okay, back to you, Sharyna.
It's great to have friends that are on your side. That's kind of one of the easiest way to kind of keep a lookout. Because like you said, it's just you. You are a solopreneur, and that's really hard, juggling everything else that you have and then having to look out for people that might be stealing your work. So The number one tip for protecting is definitely see if you can register your copyrighted works or your trademark, and those are two different processes, two different government entities that you're working with, and you should consult with an attorney to see how best you can do that. But honestly, once you do that, then you have the protection so that if something does happen to you, like it did with Mary, you can, with that, with your registered copyright or trademark, then you can put them on notice. Hey, I have a right to sue to get you to stop doing this. So that's kind of the added protection and strength that comes when you register your trademark. Another thing that you can do is you can get there's these programs that monitor either your blog or your website, and they kind of search the web to see if other things pop up that have the exact same language that you do. So let's say you're putting up blog posts on Facebook or on your blog spot, and you've got a program like, let's see, I have my list here, Google Alerts or CopyGator or Plagium, and I'll put these in the comments below, these programs, these
Ooh,
monitoring
thank you.
programs.
That'd be great.
You've got something like that you want to have something that's constantly monitoring. So you got your information and it'll watch what's on your stuff. And if something else pops up online that has the exact same thing, it'll let you know right away so that you can take action. Because the quicker you take action, the better. Less likelihood that there's going to be confusion among your customers or clients, and then you can just nip that in the bud. So that's the second thing that you can do, is get some type of monitoring program that's looking out for plagiarism and people stealing your content. Another thing that you can do is there's another thing that's called the Digital Millennium Copyright Act.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of
Yeah.
words.
And I'm not going to get into that, but essentially what that allows you to do is if you see another website, you or your colleagues or one of those monitoring programs comes back and say, hey, we got a hit on this website, you can file a claim under that act and let the website host know. So like GoDaddy, those platforms that host our websites for us, you can let them know, like, hey, you're hosting a website that has my content on it and they're infringing on my rights.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yes. And then they will go and do work to take it down for you on your behalf.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's another little tidbit. And there, you can go to the website, www.dmca.com, and you can register your website on there. They'll give you a badge that lets people know.
Ooh, I like badges.
Yeah, it puts infringers on notice, like, hey, I'm protected, and if you try to do something, I'm gonna know.
Hey, it's kind of like having the security alert at your home, like this home is watched by, right? It's kind of like having, what's that called that you have when you have like a security system? Like my dad has cameras in the house. So it's kind of like having that on your website for your business.
Right. And that's exactly the purpose, that you put that badge on there and say, hey, like, I've got my copyright and my original stuff. It's protected. And if you try something, I know what to do, basically. So
I love it.
that's something else that you can do. And then another thing too, for platforms, I know some business owners will put up like YouTube videos, or they'll put their tips and tricks on like Facebook. Each of those platforms also have their own separate procedure where if you see someone else on Facebook that has taken your stuff and they've made a post on their business page, Facebook has a page where you can file a complaint with them and they will take off the content for you.
Okay, so I have a question regarding that. So I'm always posting tips, right? I love to give out tips, and you know that I host a monthly LinkedIn Lab. And I have a question about someone taking my material and using it to teach LinkedIn.
Are they posting it on one of those platforms like Facebook or YouTube or anything?
No. And I don't know if anyone is doing anything, but it's something that I've just started thinking about. Yeah, it's like, and I guess that's probably a deeper question at some point, but so for all of us that are coaches, speakers, we're service based, so we throw out tips. That's fine.
Right.
But I teach a LinkedIn lab, and someone might have like a one-on-one session with me, and then they might go try to teach it to someone. So I'm also doing like an online course coming up. And I don't think this happened in my beta course, but like that's something I'm curious, like how do we protect ourselves as online instructors, right? Do I have to copyright my course?
So, as a general response, if you are anything that you're writing down, like your
Uh-huh.
materials, if you are writing that down and that's part of your service package that you are giving to your clients, if someone else literally copies the whole thing and takes it verbatim and begins trying to do the same thing and selling it, generally, technically, yes, you have a claim for copyright infringement. The issue is though, remember what I said earlier, you gotta register your content.
So that's my question. So I'm getting ready to launch my LinkedIn, your recipe for success on LinkedIn. It's $1,000 course. I've like poured my blood, sweat, and tears into it. There's like video tutorials. There's PDFs. You get office hours with me. Like it's a big, big course. Everything on LinkedIn from A to Z. And I'm creating all that content. So to protect myself, I need to register my course.
Your course. Yep.
Okay.
And you want to do that. You would want to do anything that you're creating. You want to register it before it gets infringed, because it gets a little trickier for you if you created that and then someone has come and taken it, like basically taking the materials, and then you go and register. You still can. You can register afterward. The issue is though, if you go to court, generally speaking,
right, you want to do it beforehand.
You want to do it before it's stronger.
Okay, so we want to be proactive. So then that leads to, for all the coaches, speakers, trainers out there, so you have an online course, and everything I'm using in the online course is what I use with my one-on-one. So I feel like if I protect that online course, I'm kind of protecting everything. So, oh, go ahead. So if I protect this big online course that I'm doing, I'm protecting all my work that's in there, which is pretty much everything. So that's one copyright, or is that one trademark? What is that?
That would have to be, I mean, it's hard to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would be something you would want to consult with the attorney and go over
Got it.
all the pieces of it. Because some of it might be visual, some of it's written down.
Oh, okay.
I was saying earlier, there's different types of original works of authorship, and so that would be something you definitely want to attorney about. It's kind of hard to break it down without seeing it, because they would want to review everything and.
Okay, gotcha.
Register, but yes, you are on the right track, because if you get that covered,
then everything's covered.
No one else can. Yeah, then without your permission, no one else can reproduce it. They can't distribute it. Those would be your exclusive rights as the copyright.
I think I really need to do that, because this is a big course. It's like the mother of all mother courses on LinkedIn. It's got everything, and it's also got my style to it, my brand. So it's fun and informative. It's engaging. And if someone else were to take this course and copy it, it would like break my heart, because I've been thinking about doing it for a year. I finally did the beta course in December, and now I'm launching it next month. So yeah, we're going to have to talk after the show. Okay.
Okay. After.
Yeah, after. So, what else did you want to cover? We've actually already gone over my standard half hour, which is fine, because we've had a lot of engagement, and because I know this is a bigger topic than 30 minutes, but I just really wanted, I wanted everyone to start thinking about it. If you're not thinking about IP, intellectual property, and if you're not thinking about copywriting and trademark, your business name, your tagline, your logos, your intellectual property, all that, I want you to start thinking about that. And what do you have that you need to protect now? So I don't know who that is watching who actually has trademarked and copyrighted stuff, like Rebecca, maybe you've already done the whole C1 thing. Kimberly, I don't know if you have. Nancy Dorset, have you copyright, trademarked anything? I'd love to know who is watching this that has already done some of this work and legwork. I do really feel it's important, and we need to be proactive rather than reactive and have a situation like I went through about a month ago. And also, I kind of feel like it's like car insurance. We don't always need it, but it's good to have. Right? So it's kind of the same thing with like trademarking and protecting ourselves, right?
Exactly. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you're like, oh, I wish I had this, because then it's too late.
Right.
You want to be proactive about it. I did have a couple more things.
Go for it.
Just to add to it. No matter what, whether you register it or not, always document your creative process. And by that, I mean, when you write something down, date it. Have like a record of your timeline of when you created stuff. Because even if you may not have registered it, you can still go and show that you created it first. And under intellectual property, the person who made it first, they have the rights. Their rights take precedence.
So does that mean, I have, like, I'm the crazy, I call myself a hybrid person. So like, I love paper and I love electronic, but I literally have, this office is full of paper. So there's lots of ideas and there's the templates, but then I have them saved in the computer. Does that date work too?
As long as it has the date that where you created it. But I do know when you add and change it, I think it.
Yeah.
So try to put the date you started.
Oh, there's so much work to do then. I'm like, yeah, because every time I update one of my templates, right, it updates the date last changed. So like, I did my templates in 2016 is when I started them. But I know the dates now are like 2017 and now 2018. So
just in the future, be mindful of that. Just keep.
But if I take the course and we get everything there, then I'll be fine. Because all the templates are part of my course. So that would be fine. And then just moving forward, I'm going to have to keep more paper. Joe, if you're watching this, my husband, sorry, I got to keep all these papers just in case I go big here with the LinkedIn bakery, and I need
to a file with some dates so that you have them with you, or you can scan them all on your computer.
Oh, there's an idea.
So you don't have to keep them, in paperwork. Scan them all and have dates there. So
my husband just popped in. He's like looking at me. I'm like, yeah, we're going to have to keep all these fabulous ideas that I jot down, things that I draw, and all my ideas and my calendar notes.
Yeah.
So anything else that you want to share before we wrap things up?
Nope. I think that's it. I mean, if there are any further questions, I'll go back in the comments, and I will be linking to those infringement monitoring programs that I spoke about.
Oh, that's
earlier,
perfect.
and the website to the DMCA Act and how you can get that badge. I'll be putting all that.
Oh, I can't wait. I really want to do that for sure. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us tonight for this fun and informative Facebook Live episode with Sharyna Scott. And I want to encourage all my entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, small business owners, if you haven't protected yourself yet, please reach out to Sharyna or another attorney, lawyer in San Diego, wherever, but protect yourself, because I want to see you grow. I don't want to hear about you being in a situation like I was in, where it freaked you out, you got frustrated, and I literally sat there and I told my husband I was crying when he got home. By the time an hour and a half into this, I didn't tell you guys this, I was sitting on the couch crying and he came home. I was like, I just can't do this. It's not worth the hassle. What am I going to do? I literally was like, I just can't do this, because if people are going to steal and borrow all this that I've put my hard work into for 3 years, I was like, I can't do this, honey. But thank God, Sharyna and my friends, they talked me off the fence, and I just have to get some things copyrighted, trademarked, like the logo, maybe without the word LinkedIn, and my tagline, serving up bite-sized tips, because that's totally mine. And there's other people out there using bite-sized pieces, which they can use, but they did borrow that or they got inspired by me. So anyways, you guys, I really want you to protect yourself. Thank you so much for joining us. And please, any more questions, just go into the event here and ask your questions. And Sharyna, you know, she is an attorney, so she can't answer everything here on Facebook, but I'm sure you can set up a consultation call with her and she'll make sure that her information is in the comments and she'll share all those links. And thank you so much. And please tune in. When is it? April 18th. I have an HR specialist coming on to talk about 1099 contracts, interns, and all that HR stuff, because even as a solopreneur, we still hire people from time to time. So I want us to protect ourselves. So April is legal and HR month. In May, we're going to have masterminding and coaching. So that is going to be fabulous. And like I said, my LinkedIn course, Your Recipe for Success on LinkedIn, is launching mid-May. I am super excited. And like I said, it's $1,000 course, but I have a special for early registration. If you're interested in that, go to my website. I'll put the link and sign up just to get on the list to get the information. So Sharyna, I'm going to put it back to you so you can say goodbye. There you are. You're on screen.
Right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I hope this was helpful, informative, and educational for you. And as just like Mary said, if you have any further questions, specific questions, please email me, call me. I'd love to be able to help you out. I'd love to be able to see what we can do to protect your brand. I look forward to speaking with you.
Okay. Thanks, you guys. Have a great night, and I'll see you online. Bye.